Go Dogs. Oh, amen. Amen. Well, Rufus Montgomery texted me, and we have State Senator Sonia Halpern joined us, so we're so pleased to have her join us. Thank you, Sonia, for being here. Speaking of life, Ben, my wife, and I have to brag on her, not in a selfish way, but actually I couldn't do this without her. My wife, Christiana, she is in there. She is holding our 2-year-old, and also she is due in March or April. The end of March, beginning of April. So we haven't caught up to 7, but we're gunning for you. We're coming for you. My dad had about a majority of his, he had 10 out of his 11 grandkids in the house today. The 3-month-old twins, they had to go home just a few minutes ago, but they were in the building, so they made it. But we were so pleased to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Where is Senator Strickland at? Is he still in the house? Senator Strickland, Okay, Senator Strickland, he is carrying a bill, Senate Bill 157. This deals with occupational licensing. It passed the House unanimously. Colton, it passed unanimously. We got Colton's vote on it. We were very pleased to have Colton with us on it. We're very thankful for that. But it's in the House right now. They're considering it. Speaker Burns, we would humbly ask for your consideration of Senate Bill 157, dealing with occupational licensing, making sure that families have the opportunity to provide, because we know a strong family means a strong Georgia. We're so pleased to have for that. And one other state senator I want to recognize before I bring Lieutenant Governor up here is Greg Dolezal in the House. Senator Dolezal. Now, I need to recognize Senator Dolezal for 2 reasons. One, he taught me how to introduce a lieutenant governor, which we'll get to in just a minute. But 2, he also happens to be carrying Senate Bill 233. And if you're not familiar with Senate Bill 233, this deals with educational opportunities for children in the bottom 25% of performing schools, giving them a $6,500 ESA educational savings account, allowing parents to direct the education of their children. We wholeheartedly endorse that legislation. It also happens to be in the House, and I know the Speaker's supportive of it, so we thank him for that, and we urge its passage and join the Governor, Lieutenant Governor, the Speaker, and everyone in providing that opportunity. But the first reason I mentioned is Senator Dolezal taught me how to introduce a Lieutenant Governor, and the way he did that is I was at a meeting and he introduced Lieutenant Governor Jones, and he said most people think a Lieutenant Governor has one job, and that's to shake the governor's hand and see if it's cold or warm. But let me stand here and tell you that this Lieutenant Governor is a champion for those values that we just talked about, for educational freedom and so many other things, and he is active in policy and in so many other areas. So it's my pleasure to introduce Georgia's Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Burt Jones.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that introduction, and I appreciate Benjamin Watson being here. And Ben and I go way back, and when I saw the list of the speakers today, and I saw I was going to be following Benjamin, I said, y'all probably never heard him speak, but I have. And I was like, I can't believe I got to follow Ben. Because you could send around an offering plate, and you'd be surprised. But because you do it better than most preachers out here on Sunday. So good job, Benjamin. And I will tell you, you're also very kind in saying that he and I played together. I like to remind people that I watched Ben play. And I wore out some knee pads here and there. So, but he great friend. Known him since our days at University of Georgia. I will tell you, I can remember the first time I met Benjamin. He was a transfer from Duke University, coming to University of Georgia. Now this was before NIL, and this is before the transfer portal. So transfers weren't very common. And we're sitting here at the University of Georgia. I mean, we weren't as good as they are now, but we're still, pretty good. And they said, we got a kid from Duke coming. And we were like, well, whoop-de-doo, we got a kid from Duke coming. He plays tight end. He's going to be great. We're still like, yeah, he's at Duke, though. But all of a sudden this massive man shows up at the locker room, goes in there, and this calmly puts over 500 pounds on a bench and does it like it's nothing, you know. I never will forget, we'll go out on the field later on that day after I'd witnessed this, and they said, now, Burt, you're going to go guard Ben real quick. I was like, I didn't get to this point. I didn't get to this point in my career to be foolish now. So, but I will tell you, I want to thank number one, I appreciate Ben, and I appreciate his involvement in this and his endeavors. And as like I said, he doesn't just talk about it; he lives it every day. And I never will forget him reaching out to me and kind of telling me. Here a few weeks ago, we got together for lunch, and he was telling me about his affiliation with this foundation and what they were doing for women and what they were doing for children. And I want to thank him for doing that. I told him that day, and I meant it, that we're going to partner with him because if somebody like him is out there giving his time and effort to a cause that all of us hold near and dear to our heart, then we need to be caught being involved with it at the state level. So I want to tell you that. I want to thank Ralph Reed, always. Ralph Reed, you know, you're always the best dressed man in the room. So, but appreciate you hosting this again and doing a great job. It's always, I always laugh because Faith and Freedom lunches, it's like Easter Sunday. Everybody shows up for it, you know, and I so glad we have a sellout crowd again here today. And I just want to tell you what we're concentrating on at the Senate. At the General Assembly, particularly in the Senate, we have made it a point since I got elected Lieutenant Governor, thanks to the leadership in the Senate. I see all my Senate members here. And I appreciate them being here. One of the things that I heard Bruce Thompson say earlier, you know, what is it you want to be? What do you want to invest in? You know, be known to invest in, and that will show you what your priorities are. And one of the things that we did last year was we set up a children and family committee. And that children and family committee was a sole purpose to work on our DFAC system, to work on our foster care system, to work on our adoption rate, making it more accessible and easy to adopt our children right now. And I'm proud to say in a time when government usually doesn't move very fast, when we established that committee and got to working with the agency to find out exactly what the tools were that they needed to succeed, we took at one time, we had over 100 children in motel rooms, right? Within 6 months, we had that down to 0, right? So, and that's significant because it was just a matter they needed the resources. And that's all we went, and it wasn't, they were understaffed, underfunded, and we went to them, we said, tell me what you need to be successful. Tell me what you need to be successful. We'll provide it for you, and then the rest is up to you. And thankfully, they had a good commissioner in Candace Brose that took that flag and ran with it, and she did a wonderful job. But I will tell you this, if you're going to be pro-life, you got to be pro-life at every stage of the game. You got to be at every stage of the game. That's why we concentrated on foster care systems. We've concentrated on having safety in our school systems. We've put $100 million into putting safety in school systems, which I think there's no better use of that money for that. And also one of the things that I know we're going to get done this year, because I was sitting over there next to my good speaker right there, who's my dear, dear friend. I know we're going to get school choice done this year. So, it needs to be said, I'm going to get off stage in a second. I see you trying to grab me over here. But it needs to be said, this is not, being school choice is not being against public school systems. My mother was a public educator for 30 years. My father started out in public education. This is not being against public school systems. I tell people all the time, even in the best public school system, which we have a lot of them, and we're very proud of them, it's not always the right fit for every child. It's just not always the right fit for every child. It's in the best of systems. So why wouldn't you allow parents? Why wouldn't you allow children to have options out there? I think it's important for us to do it. I think we're going to get school choice done this year, and we're going to concentrate on improving education, not just for public schools, private schools, and not just for kids in certain zip codes. We're trying to uplift all our kids right now, and we're going to do them. We're going to do them. We got to do it a bit at a time. But I can tell you, it's a priority of ours at the state. It's a priority of ours in the Senate, and I know it's a priority to the Speaker and our House members. Thank y'all very much for allowing me to speak today.